There are 11 camera angles in Five Nights at Freddy's. 11 spots for you to crawl down and sleep at. But which of those places is coziest to fall asleep in? If you were the security guard at this place, odds are you forget your coffee, it's the first night at the job, and you feel sleepy. But where do you want to really fall asleep that would feel coziest? Not safest, because let's face it, there is no safe place here, but coziest. Note that we will only assume camera angles. We don't know anything about this place except for what we see, just like the security guard does. Let's start with the obvious one, the show stage. White lights? No thank you. I like my eyeballs not burned. And I know what you're thinking. The show stage might seem like a big space, but there are 3 big animatronics already taking up a lot of space, which, yeah, is quite counterintuitive if you think about it. Not the coziest of places when there are killer animatronics around. The guitar is also off-putting, not just because, you know, Bonnie might start playing it and wake you up in the middle of the night, but because it might decide to bash your head in. If the animatronics didn't come to life at night, you might try to cuddle with them, and, well, it wouldn't be the plushiest of cuddles, but still, better than sleeping on a cold floor, alone, isolated, tears running down your cheeks. Sorry, I just got carried away for a second. The only time you could ever really consider sleeping on the show stage is if the animatronics have wandered off, which they often do at night, but that would require a huge risk. You would actually have to get there without them noticing you. So it's not ideal. And I know that the curtains seem quite cozy, truthfully. Like if you could just pull them down, then maybe you could use them as blankets. But I kind of tried, and yeah, well, it turns out it's like, I don't know what they used. They just glued it up there. Doesn't budge, doesn't come down. Ultimately, I would rate the show stage for a sleepability score 3 out of 10. Now, the dining area, on the other hand, is a big place. Lots of leg room. Lighting isn't necessarily as blinding. So an immediate win in my book, in my sleep book. Plus, there's a lot of stuff here. You know, chairs, tables, even party hats if you were to ever have a party. You could technically push 2 tables together and make a sort of bed for yourself, but you don't have to actually do that. You could just get under one of the tables, and because the tablecloth is kind of, you know, on the sides, it's going down, it could be this sort of fort almost, you know? The ones that we had in our childhoods could be quite the cozy place if you ask me. The problem I see with this place, though, is that all of the unique characters, except for Foxy, does drop in to this area. They all go through here. But would they notice you if you're underneath a table and covered with a tablecloth? Probably not. As long as you're not snoring, I guess. And you're not snoring, are you? Because if you're snoring, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. You do realize that no matter where you sleep in this place, if you're snoring, it's going to be a problem. So you might want to get that checked out before you start working here. But in my opinion, definitely a contender for being the coziest place to sleep at Freddy Fazbear's. In fact, I'll give a sleepability score of 7 out of 10. Yes, 7. Let's make it 6. It's fine. 6 is enough. Looking for a cozy place to sleep? Well, this channel is perfect for that. If you can subscribe and like the video, I would really appreciate it. It would help my channel grow. That's it. That's all I ask of you. Thank you so much. The backstage, however, seems like one of the smallest rooms we got. And you know what they say, small, cozy. Not really, but it has that cozy feeling. Lots of props for the animatronics. But the thing is, since this is a room, you could close the door and it will be completely dark. The good? It's completely dark. The bad? It's completely dark. Yeah, stumbling upon an animatronic while it's completely dark does not sound like the most fun. Or cozy, for that matter. But we closed the door, so maybe the animatronics won't enter? It does on the door say employees only. That means that any animatronic would be inclined to enter because they are, after all, employees. Now, I did also consider that you could hide behind or under the desk that's available in that room, or use one of the props, you know, the masks, to hide your face in them. And I know what the telephone guy says on the phone. There's a lot of wiring and it's not going to be comfortable putting your head in there. I guess so, but we could maybe beforehand prepare by ripping out those cables as much as we can and just kind of opening up one of them to be used as a sort of mask, basically. Thing is, I see lots of potential in this room. I think there is a sleepability sleepability. And I also think it's quite cozy. So sleepability score will be 5 out of 10. Why 5? You might have missed the part where I said you have to put on an animatronic suit or a mask to sleep. That does not sound cozy to me, friend. Also, no blanket. The pirate code. The one place with some color. Purple. And no matter who you are out there, I know you love this color. I know you love purple. We all love purple. I don't know why we love purple. Purple has a thing. In fact, did you know that most people in the world love the color purple? I've checked this, and there's a research that YouGov conducted. And as you can see on the chart on my right or my left, okay. Well, okay. Purple is the fourth most color, apparently. Not the most loved. But what you might not know is purple is being loved because of its simplicity, because it speaks to everyone. No matter who you are out there, purple has this calming effect. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, we all have this, connection to purple. Oh, wait, Bugatti? Wait, Lamborghini? The color of luxury. No, wait, that can't be right. All right. Well, okay. You know what? Screw purple, I guess. And you know what? Screw this room because we're not sleeping here. Let's face it. Foxy is almost always active, either inside the curtains or outside the curtains. It's not going to be a comfortable sleep. We're going to be always waking up. Maybe when he's running through the halls, you could get a micro sleep, but who falls asleep in a few seconds? Is there anybody that falls asleep in a few seconds? What, are you happy? We're all awake in bed at least for an hour. And if we don't stare at our phones, we crumble in anxiety. Sleepability score of this place is a resounding 0. And hey, if you're happy and you fall asleep in a few seconds, I don't know what to say. I'm jealous of you. Congratulations on that quick falling asleep, huh? That sounds nice. Not gonna lie. Wow. Okay. It's time to talk about the restrooms. And yeah, first thought is, let's skip the restrooms. That doesn't even make sense. Who would sleep at the restrooms? But we're desperate here, and we would sleep at any place that feels cozy. And trust me when I say this, once I'm done with this, you're gonna realize restrooms actually is a pretty good place to sleep at. But I agree. Tiles? Really? What are you, an animatronic? Because no one sleeps on tiles. It's gonna be cold forever, no matter what you do. But hear me out. Toilets. No, seriously, think about it. If you ever have to go in the middle of the night, you can just do it. You can do it. You don't have to get up. You don't have to do anything. Also, we don't see any locks, but chances are you can lock the doors, which would bring a lot of safety and peace of mind. Well, it is a children's place, so I'm assuming they don't have locks. So I guess that's kind of gone, but still, it has doors. I guess you could close it and maybe the animatronics leave you be because, well, it's a private area. And I know it's still not a very cozy place to sleep at because it probably smells terrible, especially if no one's cleaned it for a while. But on the flip side, there are towels, maybe, or even some toilet paper. We could use them to lay out some sort of bed. Now, I calculated how many toilet papers it would take to, well, create a sort of makeshift bed. Now, a regular toilet paper is around 20 to 25 meters. And if it were 3-ply, I mean, 3-ply, really? What are you, like a billionaire? Let's face it, nobody's using 3-ply anymore, and especially cheap places such as these, or restaurants or whatever they are, they usually end up using 0.5 ply. I don't know where they find it, but it's usually half a ply. That's why we're going to go ahead and do the calculation, assuming that they have toilet paper and it's only half ply. And we want to be minimalistic here. We want to make sure that it's enough bed, but it doesn't, well, it's not super big. And based on how the security guard sits, we can estimate the height. I really doubt that he needs the full 2 meters of bed length. The way he's angled, while he's sitting there, it seems like his body is lower than the desk in front of him. His head is almost aligned with the fan, as you can see. Now, I was never really good at geometry, but if we draw a triangle right here, as you can see, we can find that his height is actually around 160 or 185 centimeters, which is between 5'2 or 5'9. And I'm just going to take the median here, like something in between, and it's going to be 5'7 or 175 centimeters. Toilet papers, we assume it's 20 meters. I checked to get enough thickness to stop the cold from the tiles. We need to at least have 5 centimeters of like toilet paper. Even that's not going to be good, but we're going to just work with it. Half a ply could be like half a centimeter. So we're going to need like 10 times that. With some magic and a little bit of math, I found that for a toilet paper bed of 175 centimeters length and 90 centimeters width, we need this calculation. I used some pen and paper. I'm going to show you a screenshot of this to calculate it. And I came to the conclusion that we need 17.5 meters of toilet paper twice because it's square meters. So if we've got 2 toilet papers, or rolls, that should leave us with 5 meters square of toilet paper extra, which could be technically fashioned into some sort of pillow. So the toilets for me actually get 4 stars out of 10 for sleepability. Yeah, 4. Sorry, I just think that chances are this place smells like Silent Hill bad, and I don't want to really sleep at a place like that, even if we do have a really nice toilet paper bed for us. Onto the kitchen, which, based on the sounds, I doubt it's comfortable. Lots of forks, spoons, probably spoons, and even knives to accidentally stab yourself with while trying to find a comfortable position. Where you're gonna sleep anyways? On the metal countertops? The pizza oven? I mean, sure, it'd be hot, but too claustrophobic for my taste. And don't forget Chica randomly showing up and rambling through the dishes. And easy 0 out of 10 in terms of sleepability. Actually, no, let's give it 1 star. It is the darkest room that we've got available, and never underestimate the power of complete darkness for a good night's sleep. The halls are not even rooms, therefore they don't even hold any coziness, realistically. But in case you are a hall sleeping guy, maybe you prefer halls, we're gonna go over them real quick. First of all, they are cozy in terms of length. They're really long. They have great acoustics. The west hallways seem to have some sort of a radiator at the back there. You can see it attached to the wall. And if you get really close, if it's on, it could be super warm. And I'll admit, the posters and the glow on the dark stars on the walls almost feel like a real room. The light that is flickering is a bit annoying, and chances are it's making this bzzz sound that, you know, some lights when they break make. But the biggest problem, you fall asleep, animatronics, let's say they don't notice you. All good, right? Nope. There's a crazy old fox living down the hall who will occasionally get up, sprint in the middle of the night, and then run back behind his curtains. He's got sundown syndrome, basically. And the East Hall has glowing stars too. But the posters here are a bit more disturbing, so an immediate turn-off. The light is in the front, meaning you could crawl back to the back and then just sleep there because it's a bit darker, and chances are Chica doesn't notice you. Won't be the best sleep, but still, hey, you like halls, so this is what we got, man. West Hall sleepability score, therefore, is a 2 out of 10, and East Hall, well, it's a 1 for me because it doesn't have that warmth of a radiator. And at this point, you might be thinking, well, the corners must have sleepability score of 0. And you would be right. Almost, but you're not. Because the West Hall corner is filthier than the East and gets a frequent visit from the crazy old fox and Bonnie, which, well, let's face it, looks huge. The East Hall corner looks a lot cleaner, you know, has a clear dark corner spot perfect to hide in. Even when Chica or Freddy is around, chances are they don't see you. So the East Hall corner actually wins here with a sleepability score of 2 out of 10, and the West Hall corner is a straight up 0. So you were right on that one. Congratulations. I also do see some weird machinery. I don't know how that would contribute to our sleep. Probably not very well. But also don't even get me started on this Freddy poster that just creeps me out. What does it say? Let's party? How about no, Freddy? How about I sleep and you party? Actually, you know what? You don't party either. Let's sleep together. Why don't we just cuddle and just sleep? Come on, Freddy. Just need some sleep. Since we did talk about the poster, I do want to mention real quick. Yeah, I see it on the East Hall corner. There's a rule list, you know, stating each rule. And yes, I read it. Don't poop on the floor is listed, which can only mean one thing. This place stinks. And the floors are probably not super ideal to sleep on because somebody's children just had to poop on the floor, not me. But hey, gotta work with what we got. And finally, the supply closet. Actually, a great contester to be a great sleeping spot. I think it's cozy, no? Look at this place. You know, it's small, it has a door, you can just close it. And once you close the door to the west side, it should be fine. And if you're thinking, well, the light bulb is super bright and annoying, you're right, but I figured that out already. If there's no switch, what we do is this. We leave one door down and the lights on in the security booth. That way, the energy will drain super fast. Then, when the road is clear, we move to the supply closet, really carefully, use the broom to lock the door from behind. When the energy eventually runs out, the bulb turns off, and voila! You've got yourself the safest, darkest spot to sleep in. And there's no way they're going to be able to open it because, you know, they're just going to try to open it maybe once. They're not going to try to push it or break it open. They're not that aggressive because they don't know that you're there. If they knew, I guess they might get aggressive. And you've got yourself, you know, kind of this safe, dark place to sleep in. And if there's poop on the floor, No problem, I've got good news. Cleaning supplies on the shelves. Yeah, it sucks. Everybody hates cleaning. I mean, most of us do. But we're gonna have to clean it up and then it's gonna smell clean and then we're gonna be able to sleep there. And you know, one of those soap boxes could be used maybe as a pillow. If you want, you can use the broom. I don't recommend it. It's probably not very clean, but you could try it. And I know there's no blanket, but it could beat the dining place because of safety and because of darkness. Peace of mind. So the sleepability score of the closet is a resounding 8 from me. Wow. Didn't see that coming, did you? If you've stuck around until this point, congratulations. There was a bonus room. The 12th and perhaps the most obvious option, the security booth. Because of the fan, immediately it gives that cozy feeling, doesn't it? White noise. It has a soft, yellow light on top, and you can even lock both doors and just simply fall asleep. No worries at all. If it weren't for the fact, well, the animatronics are automatically drawn to this room at all times and power eventually runs out, it would probably get an easily like 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10 almost. But due to power, very low safety, I can only score this place with 4 stars. So if you decide to just take a quick nap in the security booth because you're too scared to leave, I experimented. All right. So with 1 hour nap, assuming, from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., I closed both doors down and just wanted to see how much energy is being used. Let's say I sleep for an hour. It was 35%. And for the first 3 nights, I think you can definitely get away with it. So if it were for the first 3 nights, I would score this place with a sleepability score of 9 out of 10. Not after night 4. Never after night 4. Maybe with perfect energy management if you're that pro, but otherwise no. So the winner ultimately is the security booth, for the first 3 nights at least. After that, it's the supply closet, and third place goes to the dining area. Let me know in the comments where you would prefer to have slept at Five Nights at Freddy's, at least the first game, or Freddy Fazbear's basically. But that's it for Fax Machine 9000. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next horror video game or movie content. And I wish you a happy new year with full of cozy nights. Subscribe.